Hello everyone and welcome to this video. In this video I will share my league start preparation for the upcoming Affliction League. He hopes that it will help you have a smoother league start as well. This is the first league where I fully commit to playing hardcore, so I had to find a league starter that is not too hard to play. I found two builds that were easy enough to play: Detonate Dead Elementalist and Summoning Raging Spirit Guardian. And with the help of the community, I decided that I would play DD Elementalist. After making the decision about what to play, I looked up a guide for the build and found a few that were not up to date. But after reading the patch notes, I came to the conclusion that DD is even better than before. I also came to the conclusion that the leveling process will not be that different than it was before. So 3.22 videos should still be viable while I wait for updated versions. So the next thing that I was looking for was a speedrun from Act 1 to 10. Luckily for me, YouTuber I Am Exile uploaded a speedrun. These speedruns are always very informative. Of course, I am not expecting to match his time in any way, but you will learn a lot of things when you watch these videos. Where should you swap your gems? What gear is important? What should I craft on my items? What route is the most efficient, etc. After watching some parts of the video, I completed two warm-up runs, Act 1 to Act 5. In the first run, I died against Kitava. When I checked the time I played, it was 3 hours and 10 minutes. I walked into the thing. Damn it. The second run was already faster. I beat Kitava and it took me a total of 2 hours and 52 minutes. So this is already paying off. 2 hours, 52 minutes. What happens during these practice runs is that you unrust and automate the process of going through the campaign. If you do not have the time for this, just do an Act 1 run and improve your time there. I personally found that most of the time Act 1, Act 3 and Act 6 are the most crucial when it comes to gem setups and gear. After completing these runs, I went to PoE Planner and created an Atlas passive tree that fits my needs in the first few days or weeks of the league. While I'm not 100% sure if it will perform the way I think it will, I think it is better to have a plan and adapt if it's not good, rather than going into a league with nothing prepared. So, my Atlas tree looks like this. I took some Kirac notes, expert reconnaissance, 60% increased Atlas scouting reports found in your maps, commissioned officer, gain 1 additional Kirac mission each day. Your maps have 3% chance to grant an additional Kirac mission on completion. Took these 3 notes, higher map tier chance, and I took Shaping the World. Final map boss in each map has a 5% chance to drop an additional connected map. Maps found have 10% chance to be 1 tier higher. These notes always help me to progress through the Atlas faster. The next mechanic that I invested points into is essences. Crystal letters. Imprisoned monsters in your maps have 15% chance to have 3 additional essences. Crystal resonance. Monsters imprisoned by a shrieking essence in your maps will be duplicated when released. Corrupting imprisoned monsters in your maps cannot release them. Of course, the small note down here, prolific essence. Your maps contain an additional essence. And amplified energies. Essences found in your maps are a tier higher. I decided to take essences because essences help you to craft these gear, which is always useful at the beginning. The next nodes that I invest points into is Syndicate. Focused Investigation. Your maps have 4% chance to grant an additional Jun mission on completion. Bribery. Immortal Syndicate members in your maps are 200% more likely to offer a bargain for items. Immortal Syndicate members in your maps drop 200% more items when bargained with for items. And effective leadership. Immortal Syndicate members in your maps are 100% more likely to be accompanied by their leader. Immortal Syndicate leaders in your maps drop an additional veiled item. I took the Syndicate because the crafts that you can unveil are very, very useful. The next mechanic that I invested points into is Harvest. Hall of the Grove. Your maps have 15% chance to contain the Sacred Grove. Bumper Crop. The Sacred Grove in your maps has 50% chance to contain an additional harvest. Wonderful Harvest. Harvest monsters in your maps grant 200% increased experience. Harvest plants in your maps have 10% chance to spawn an additional monster. Doubling Season. Life Force dropped by harvest monsters in your maps has 10% chance to be duplicated. And Heart of the Grove. Harvest crops in your maps have 60% increased chance to contain a tier 4 plant. Harvests in your maps have 10% chance for the unchosen crop to not wilt. Harvest is pretty straightforward, I would say. It's one of the best, if not the best, crafting mechanic in the game. And that is why I took it. Next mechanic that I invested points into is Expedition. I took Hunt for Answers. Your maps have plus 2% chance to contain an expedition encounter. Then I took Ancient Writings, remnants in your maps have 30% chance to have an additional suffix modifier. Expeditions in your maps have +2 remnants. Distinguished Demolitionist, 35% increased explosive radius in your maps, 20% increased number of explosives maps. And the last note, Buried Knowledge, 50% increased quantity of expedition logbooks dropped by runic monsters in your maps. Maps contain 20% increased number of runic monster markers. I took Expedition because 2em provides you with a lot of small currency, also gems, jewels, whatever. And Rock gives you the ability to craft on items. The next mechanic that is perhaps a bit controversial, but I learned during my Operation Mirror Challenge that shrines can be very, very powerful. So I decided to invest in shrines to increase my survivability and /or damage output. So I took Supplication. Your maps contain an additional shrine. Then I took Syncretism. 30% increased effects of shrine buffs on players in your maps. Shrines in your maps grant a random additional shrine effect. Drawn to power, shrines in your maps have 50% chance to be guarded by an additional pack of monsters. Shrines in your maps are guarded by at least one magic pack. Last points will be spent on rolling off mechanics that I do not want to see in my maps. That would be Heist, Delirium, Blight, Ritual, Legion, Abyss, and Breach. I personally think it is always important that you have an atlas tree that fits your needs and gives you the most enjoyment. You currently lack the knowledge to create one yourself, or probably one from someone who has a lot of experience in the game. On me. The last kind of prep that I will make is to update my loot filter on game day and make sure that it is optimized for my needs. So to summarize the video, first, find a good League starter build. Very, very crucial. Second, do some sort of practice run with picked build. If it exists, watch a speedrun and try to copy some of the stuff the speedrunner does. Third, create or look for an atlas tree that fulfills your needs during the first weeks of the league. Fourth, create, find, or update your loot filter before the league starts. Right, that concludes the video. I hope it was helpful to you and I wish you guys a great league start. Bye!